Let's start my first ever 24-hour readathon. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have decided we are going to do a 24-hour readathon. So basically it is Thursday, April 24th, and I've never done a readathon before, not a 24-hour readathon like this. I do think I'm still a little bit undecided on if I'm going to stop the timer to sleep or if I'm going to just try to pull an all-nighter and read all the way through the night. The truth of the matter is I don't do well without sleep. And so I also am not good at staying up. So I feel like I want to just be able to like pull a straight 24 hours. But I don't think that I will be able to stay up to do it, but I can try, like I can attempt. But I'm about to start this timer on my 24-hour readathon, and let's go through some of the books that I have picked. We have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I've never read a cozy fantasy, which is incredibly shocking. I am a fantasy girly all the way. I love fantasy books, and I've literally never read a cozy fantasy. So I feel like this is like one of the perfect like starter cozy fantasies. I know that this has a lot of people who really, really love this series. So I was thinking possibly starting this. We have Heavenly Bodies. Now, this book I did start a while back, and I feel like this might be the first book that we read in this readathon because I am already like a good chunk into this. I would probably guess like 20% into this book. And I don't know why. I guess it's just like been a really busy month full of like brand new books, but I'm just feeling like this could be a really good option and that I should pick that up. Then we have Phantasma. I've heard a lot of things about this book, mainly that it is very like Caraval but adult instead of YA, which I loved Caraval. So I feel like if this has like similar vibes that I would probably really like it. And then this is probably the one I'm the most excited for that I definitely think we will get to in this vlog. And that is Fealess by Lauren Roberts. This is the last new release of this month that I have not read yet. And I'm very, very excited to read this one. So I feel like I think I'll definitely be getting to this book at some point in this 24-hour readathon. And I have a bunch more on my Kindle. So if I'm not in the mood for any of these in right away, then I might pick up something like some quick little, I don't know, romance or something on my Kindle. I have a bunch of Mari McFarlane's on here that I could read. I have a couple Catherine Centers that I could read. We've got a lot to choose from. So I even have like another Annibel Monoghan that I could read. There's so much to choose from. So with that being said, I think it is time to start the timer, the 24-hour timer, and let's get this reading vlog started. It is 5:34. We have 18 hours and 35 minutes left of our timer. I just finished Heavenly Bodies. Let me just say, I started this book in the beginning of the month, and I've literally picked up the audiobook many times to try to finish this book or even get like, I don't know, a good chunk of it read. I feel so accomplished finishing this book. Like, I don't know if any of you guys have this same thing where, like, is there ever just a fantasy book where you're like, I will be so excited the day that I get to like check that off of my list of books as read. This is one of them. And I just feel like it's definitely not bad. Let's just say my rating is like a 3-star. Definitely not bad, but also not like one of my favorites ever. I feel like the beginning was great. Like the first, I would say like, yeah, the first 70 pages, because it was chapter 10 where I kind of like stopped and then didn't pick up for a long time. So the first 70 pages were really great. They like started off fairly quickly. The main character like gets kidnapped in the very beginning, and they set up the world building very well. They explain who the main character is. They explain who kidnaps her, why she's being kidnapped, why she's against this kingdom. Like the whole world building in the first 10 chapters is great. And then there's just literally like 300 pages in between that and the end. That's just like, there was so much information in here that we didn't need. Now, I feel like what the author was intending was for us to feel the bonding of certain relationships, and to feel like the connection there. And that's why it was being like drawn out over a lot of time to make it feel like there was lots of time to start trusting people more, especially because, you know, our main character has been kidnapped and she's in like the enemy kingdom. And so basically it's like trying to show you that there are people in this kingdom that she can trust and that she's starting to trust. And I do get that, but I do feel like there was a lot in here that could have been cut out. But all in all, it was still really good. I still really enjoyed it. The ending of this book definitely made me want to pick up the second book, which I think you can still get the second book on Kindle, but they're re-releasing the paperbacks of it because it was originally indie published and now they are traditionally published with Random House. They are traditionally published with Random House, and so they are bringing out the second book in the matching cover to this. But I'm pretty sure, I'm not positive, and I could very easily check, but I'm pretty sure you can get the second book on Kindle still. You just can't get the paperback version. So if I really wanted to jump back into the series, I could definitely read it on my Kindle. But I am feeling like I'm in no rush to keep reading. It definitely left off on enough of like a little shocker to make me feel like I should pick up the second one eventually, but not enough of a shocker to be like I need it immediately. So that's how I feel about Heavenly Bodies. Now I need to very quickly decide what book I'm going to read next. I have no clue, and I definitely want it to have an audiobook, just because in a 24-hour readathon, like I have to be able to get some stuff done as well. As you saw earlier, I ended up going to the park and my husband and I just hung out outside. It was so nice today. The weather was literally a high of 85. And it's currently 81 degrees. We spent the entire like morning and early afternoon outside in this beautiful weather. It was absolutely gorgeous. Like we sat under these beautiful trees in our park. I just got out like a quilt, one of my biggest quilts that I have, and we basically just sat in the grass under two really beautiful trees, and I read, and he had my laptop and his phone, and he was like listening to stuff for the first half of the time that we were there, and then he started like watching some videos and stuff, but we just kind of hung out, and it was really, really nice. But now we are home. My husband works tonight, so he will be gone, and I'm just home alone trying to decide what book I'm going to read next. But I'm feeling the next book's going to be something on my Kindle, not a physical book, because I'm feeling a Kindle book, like I need like a little palate cleanser, and then I can jump back into one of my fantasy books. So that's what we're going to do now. So I lied. I'm not going to read a little palate cleanser romance book. I'm going to jump into Fearless. I'll tell you why I decided this very quickly, and then we'll just get on to the reading vlog. And that is because I just spent, seriously, probably 30 minutes trying to decide what my next read was going to be. I was watching TikTok videos to try to find something. I was literally like searching my the 2 apps that I use to borrow audiobooks from the library, because I used my credit for the month on Audible. So that meant that anything else that I'm going to read, that if I want the audiobook, I have to borrow it from the library, or else like buy the audiobook, which I never do. So I was like, okay, I'm limited to whatever I can get from my library right now, like whatever's available to borrow at the moment. And I was just like looking and looking and looking, and I kept playing a bunch of samples of things, and like nothing was doing it for me from the start, like from the beginning of a sample. And so I was like, well, let's just go into Audible and just start playing the beginning of the Fearless audiobook and see like what that does. And as soon as it started, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is it. So we're reading Fearless. So let's see if this book destroys me, because I very, very, very much love this series. Yeah, so let's start reading. Hi guys, it is 9:30. We have 14 hours and 42 minutes left of our timer. I am on chapter 17 of Fearless, and sorry, my brain is just not wanting to work today. I'm getting tired. That's the problem. And I just know that I am not going to be able to stay up tonight. There's just no way. I'm definitely going to have to sleep. So, but I have, for every Powerless book so far, I have done my own like sprayed edges for each book. And so I think before I go to bed, I'm going to do sprayed edges for this one. And I think I'm going to pick a really pretty pink that matches the flowers on the cover to do my own little sprayed edges. It's just something to keep me busy for a little while, to try to listen to as much of this book as I can before I inevitably fall asleep, because the truth of the matter is I am definitely going to fall asleep. I'm exhausted and it's only 9 o'clock. 6:50 in the morning. I woke up about an hour and 20 minutes ago. I have 5 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah, 5 hours and 20 minutes left on my timer, and I have less than an hour of Fearless. So with that being said, I'm about to jump right back into my book because this book has me on the edge of my seat. But I just wanted to update you guys on like the vlog. So I did end up falling asleep last night. I'm sure you can tell that I fell asleep because I did not make progress for about 4 hours. Luckily, I had set a couple alarms for myself at like 5 in the morning, 5:20, something like that. And I did not fall asleep until almost 1 o'clock. So I only got like 4 hours of sleep. So it was honestly a perfect little nap to wake up feeling refreshed and ready to jump back into my book. But I could not stay in my bed or else I would have just continued to sleep all morning. So I am out in the living room as I have been for the last hour and 20 minutes or so. I did get to kind of watch the sunrise out our front window, so that was kind of nice. I never wake up before 5 in the morning, so this is this is new. But I do want to get the most of this 24 hours that I can, and I have time to finish this book and possibly start and read another one if I just keep chugging along, but the next one will have to be something short. So I'm gonna jump right back into this book and finish this. I will give you a short update after I finish Fearless on what I'm reading next, and then yeah, we'll jump into the next book. So I officially finished Fearless. This is the third and final book in the Powerless trilogy. I don't have much that I even can say. I was going to say I don't have much to say. There isn't even a lot that I can say. But what I will say is that I did really enjoy this one. I had a hard time with Reckless. I felt like Reckless just felt like a filler book to me. So when I first read it, I was just slightly disappointed by it. And so I was a little bit nervous to jump into Fearless. I was really nervous that I was going to feel like the same way with this one, basically, that it was just like, I don't know, not as good as Powerless, but I do feel like Fearless was the perfect end to the trilogy. And yeah, I just really, really enjoyed it. I think I'm going to give this a 4-star. I think that's where we're sitting. I will let you guys know if that changes at all. But I really feel like we're sitting around a 4-star with this one. So with that being said, let's pick the last book for this 24-hour readathon, because we only have 4 hours left, 4 hours and 15 minutes. So I picked something short, and I got the audiobook from the Libby app, and that is Summer Romance by Annibel Monoghan. So I have the physical copy and the audiobook borrowed from my library. So yeah, I'm excited to start this one. I've only ever read one Annibel Monoghan, and it was Nora Goes Off Script. So I'm very excited to read this one because this was actually the one that I was like anticipating the most, I guess. But I really want to get through all of Annibel Monoghan's books before her newest one comes out this summer. So let's get started. It is time for an update. So it is 9:32 in the morning. I have been up since 5:20. So that is literally like 4 hours that I've been up this morning reading. I just hit chapter 22, which is exactly halfway. Like this is exactly 50% through Summer Romance by Annibel Monoghan. And I will say there are definite similarities between this and Nora Goes Off Script. Like they follow like a similar script almost, like they're like very similar but like different characters in a little bit of a different circumstance. But like her writing is so similar in both that I feel like the main characters in these books could be like sisters or something. Like they're very, I don't know, it's just very, very similar. Like if you like one, then I feel like you're definitely gonna like the other one. And if you don't like one, then I feel like you probably wouldn't want to pick up this one because they are really, really similar. I am definitely really enjoying it. I have about 2 hours left of my 24-hour timer. And I just wanted to give you guys an update because I do think I'm definitely going to be able to finish this book in the 24-hour timer, but it's going to be like pretty close to the end. So when I finish this, my timer is probably going to be up. So yeah, that is where I'm at now. That is my update. I don't know how many more updates I will have before the end of this book and the end of the timer. So once I finish the books, I will give you guys a like overview and synopsis review type thing of all the books that I read in this video. So that's all I've got for now. Let's get back to reading. You know what time it is. Our timer just went off on today's 24-hour readathon. This is the first time I've ever done this. I don't know if I said that in the beginning of this video or not, but I've actually never done one of these before. So this was very, very fun. And it is not often that I have like 2 straight days that I can just dedicate. I mean, it's 24 hours, but like you have to be available all of yesterday and some of today. And so it's just not often that I just have 2 days where I can just be like, okay, I'm just gonna pull a 24-hour readathon and just read straight 24 hours. But this was really, really fun. I enjoyed this a lot. And we got through some books. So let's do a little like wrap up on what I read and reviews for each book. So the first book that I read was Heavenly Bodies. This one was technically a book that I had already started, so I didn't read this like beginning to end, but I think that I was only on chapter 10, which was page 72 out of, let's see, I don't remember how many pages. Oh, 481. So, I mean, I still read 400 pages of this book in this vlog. This was the first book that we started. I'm very, very excited that I did read and finish this book because this was one that I was kind of struggling to feel interested in, and I just kept thinking to myself, like, I wish I could get back into that book and finish it. Like, I wanted to read it, but I was just feeling a little bit bored. I'm very, very glad that I did finish it. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was very, very fun. And I just felt like our main character it was a very interesting premise. I feel like it was kind of like Grumpy Sunshine, if you will, in a way, but it was kind of reversed. Most of the time, the man is the grump and the woman is the sunshine, and I feel like in this one it was the opposite. Like, she was the moon, he was the sun type thing, which was really, really nice. I really liked that. This whole thing was it was a really nice book. It was a really nice premise. The only downside, and the reason I ended up giving this a 3-star, is because I felt like this was very, very slow. Like, there were probably 300 pages in the middle of this book that I was like, we've lost sight of the plot a little bit. Like, what are we like working towards here? Like, what is the end goal of this book? Like, what should be completed by the end of the book? I just felt like we kind of lost sight of that. And then by like the last 100 pages, it like zoned right back in on it, and it was action packed to the very end. So I'm going to stick with 3 stars on this one. I definitely think this is a solid 3-star for me. I did definitely enjoy it. I will probably still read the second book. But I'm in no rush to get to the second book, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Heavenly Bodies. Then, next, I said that I was going to pick up a palate cleanser after reading a heavy fantasy book, and I spent 40 minutes trying to find a palate cleanser and listening to like 5 different samples of books, and none of them were feeling right. So we jumped into Fealess, which was one of my highly anticipated books and one of the books that I was the most excited to get to in this vlog. I think I said that in the beginning of the vlog, that this was one that I definitely thought that I'd be getting to. I was very excited to read this one, and we got to it. It was a really, really great read. I ended up giving this a 4-star, and I think I'm also going to stick to a 4-star, but it could go up over time as I think about it and think about the ending a little bit. I feel like I have to give myself a little bit of time on rating like the last book in a series. Like, this is a 3-book series and this was the last book. So I'm giving it a 4-star for now. I'm happy with the 4-star, but I definitely could see myself upping that just a little bit, maybe to like a 4.5. It was really, really good, very enjoyable. Absolutely loved this book. Honestly, it was a great ending. Like, I don't think I would change anything about the ending. I think she did a really, really great job. Yeah, I loved it. And I was never bored. I will say, like, there was never a time, as big as this book was, like, this was, wow, a lot longer than I actually thought. 588 pages. So this book was 100 pages longer than this book, and I feel like this one had me absolutely gripped from the start. Like, I could not put it down. I didn't want to put it down, whereas like this one I was struggling to get through it. So I definitely think that Fealess gave me like the jolt of excitement that I needed to get through this 24-hour reading vlog. It helped me get out of a reading slump, because after Heavenly Bodies, I was seriously thinking that I might be getting into a reading slump, and I feel like Fealess saved me from a reading slump and pulled me right out of it and got me right back into the swing of like wanting to read immediately. So 4-star, might go up. Definitely loved Fealess. Perfect ending, I think. Yeah, that was great. Then the next book was just today, and that is Summer Romance by Annibel Monoghan. This is my second Annibel Monoghan. I read Nora Goes Off Script just a few months ago, like earlier in this year, and that was my first one by this author, and I really enjoyed it, but I had a feeling that I would like this one more, and I was right. The premise of this one, they were very, very similar, but the premise of this one had me just a little bit more interested and intrigued. I really, really enjoyed this book. I thought this was a great book, great story. I loved it. I definitely recommend, and I ended up giving this one a 4-star. I also think that this was like the perfect time to read it, although I know it says summer romance. Like, it just, I don't know why, but it was kind of giving like springy vibes. And the funny thing is, yeah, I really don't know why. Even like the last sentence of the book was, spring is always coming, and I know for sure that I will always have a dog, which if you read the book, you'd understand that last line. But I just felt like spring and like new beginnings was kind of a really big storyline, plot, I guess. I don't know. I just felt like, although it says summer romance, this is giving ultimate spring romance, if I'm being honest with you. You could read it any time of the year. I mean, it was really fun, but I just felt like this was like, we are having peak spring weather this week. It was 82 degrees yesterday and 70 something degrees today. I think it's 75 degrees today. So just having the most beautiful, perfect spring weather, and I just felt like this was the perfect book to be reading in this gorgeous weather. Honestly, I wish that I was reading this yesterday when I was in the park, but it's okay. We can't go back and change that now. Then, last and certainly not least, I did not finish this book yet, but I did start this. I only had like an hour and something left in my on my timer, and so I knew I had to pick something quick, and this is one I've been wanting to get to, and that is Lost and Lassoed by Lyla Sage. The 4th and final book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series just released just a couple months ago, and I did see like a bunch of people going out and buying that book and reading that book and really enjoying it, and it reminded me, like, I've always been a book behind as they come out. So when the first book came out, which is Done and Dusted, I did not rush to go read it. I actually waited a while, and by the time I read that one, the second book was out. So then I waited a while again. By the time I read the second book, the third book was out, and I have literally done that every time. So I'm currently reading Lost and Lassoed, and the 4th book is out. So there's Done and Dusted, Swift and Saddled, Lost and Lassoed, and I cannot remember the newest one, but there is a 4th one that is out. And I don't know when I'll get to the 4th one, but I'm really enjoying this one, especially because I have been loving the single parent trope lately. I read like multiple books with that trope, and I had no clue that this was a single parent trope. As soon as one of them said their kid, I was like, I'm gonna like this one. I know I'm gonna like this book. This might be one of my favorites, honestly, of the Rebel Blue Ranch series. These are just fun, little cheesy romance palette cleansers, little small town southern romance. It is the perfect little palette cleanser, especially in the summertime. It really gives like the perfect little summer romance, warm weather romance. They really are so cute. So I'm totally loving this one already. Definitely gonna give this one a higher rating. I can already tell. I'm 30% into the book, but the books are not very long. They're very short, so they usually go really, really quickly. But that is all for this 24-hour readathon. We made it through, and we read 3.5 books. 2 of them were over 400-page fantasy books. One of them was almost 600 pages. So I feel very, very accomplished. I had a great reading vlog. I feel like this was the perfect, like these were the perfect books. This was a really, really, really fun 24-hour readathon. So if you guys liked this video, please make sure to comment down below. Let me know if you like this kind of video, because I would love to make videos like this more often. Or just themed reading vlogs. Like, let me know if there's any themed reading vlogs that you would like to see, any very specific ones, and I would love to make those. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.